Buchanan, baby. Keep it going. No, yeah, we got the music. Let's use it for a moment. All right, we're good. I'm really glad y'all clapped when I said to clap. That would have been bad if you didn't. That would have been bad. Are you doing good tonight? You doing good? That's good. That's better than not doing good. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself tonight. I'm going to talk about the things that I've done, and then I'm going to talk about the things that you've done. I did my homework. So I'm going to talk about my childhood, okay? So when I was younger, I went to public school. Now, quick show of hands, who here went to public school? Raise your hand. Okay. Love the energy. Who here went to private school? Okay. Now, public school, get them. No, public school is fun. I like public school a lot because you always had like a cast of characters, right? Like you never had just teachers, you had like teachers with a little asterisk on it. So like in my school, for example, I always had this really religious math teacher, and like legally speaking, I don't think they were allowed to try and convert us, but they got so close to the line. Just to give you an example, like we would be in math class and they'd put a question on the board and they'd go with their thick Southern accent, they'd go, now what do you get when you take one man plus one woman minus one marriage? What does that equal? And I wouldn't know what to say. I'd say, a baby? No, a whore. I would also have accepted Jessica. Jessica was a classmate of mine who did not enjoy math class, as it turns out. No, but public school is fun. I also always had these series of like coaches, and like they were definitely there to coach basketball or baseball or football, but the school by law had to give them some kind of class. So like they'd always give them like human geography or something like that. Walk into class, like, hey coach, what are we learning today? Whatever this movie starring Mel Gibson teaches me. No, but public school is fun. I think my favorite part of public school was the assemblies, specifically DARE. Now, who here, raise your hand, I'm gonna be doing this a lot. Raise your hand if you've heard of DARE. Okay, we got a lot of good young people in the crowd. Okay. DARE, for those of you who don't know, is like an anti-drug program. They, like you might know their slogans, like just say no. They got the lion mascot. It's like if Tony the Tiger was just a little bit more far right. But DARE, and I've heard this from other schools, sometimes DARE would like just send cops like into classrooms or something to talk about it. We didn't do that. We had a full day of DARE. They would come in with like a step team, a choir, a puppet show. It was like a non-cocaine fueled extravaganza. Someone's remembering the 70s. So DARE would come in and they'd give these stories, right? And everyone in the show was supposed to be like an ex-addict or something, but the way they talked about drugs made it sound like they just found out what they were 5 minutes before the show. Like, they'd get on stage and they'd go, okay kids, what's the difference between weed and black tar heroin? I don't know, they're both drugs. Correct, there is no difference. They're the same, they're indistinguishable in every which way. And then they'd always do like the slippery slope kind of argument. They'd be like, all right, what did we learn today? Friends lead to parties. And parties lead to, say it with me now, black tar heroin. What we learned today? No friends. They lead to heroin. But growing up in public school was a fun time. I think what it really taught me is that when you're young, you're super impressionable, and so you just kind of believe whatever anyone tells you, which leads me to my next topic, which is the Boy Scouts. I felt the room tense up a little bit as soon as I said Boy Scouts. I'm fine. So, if you don't know, before you do Boy Scouts, you have to do the Cub Scouts. And when you are in Cub Scouts, you have some ranks. So you go from Tiger, and then Wolf, and then Bear, which for a group that doesn't love gay people, that's a little bit weird. And then after Bear, you go to Weeblo. Now I don't know if any of you clocked that, but one of these is not like the other. And that is because Weeblo is where shit gets real, okay? How Cub Scouts work is you have a few years of fun where you get to like sell popcorn, which, by the way, is so much fucking harder to sell than Girl Scout cookies. Because Girl Scout cookies are like a million flavors and they're all sugar. Popcorn is vegetables, but sometimes we add cheese, I guess. So you have popcorn, and then you do your little Pinewood Derby, which, okay, if you've never been to a Pinewood Derby car race, go. Obviously, okay, only go if you know some of the Cub Scouts there. But if you want to see 45-year-old men have more passion than you've seen in years, go. This is a real thing that happened. When I was in Cub Scouts, they had to do a weigh-in of our cars at the start and during the event because people fully grown adults, kept trying to hide weights in their car so that their 9-year-old could beat another 9-year-old. In a race where one of the cars was a fucking Bionicle. Anyways, so what happens is you have a few years of fun and then they pull you aside and they go, hey, come here. It's okay, come here. What? You have fun? Yeah. Not anymore. Listen, buddy, I know you had fun doing your little popcorn and your little box cars, but now it's Weeblo time, okay? Now it's real shit time. We're gonna give you a test, and if you don't pass this test, you're out of the Boy Scouts. Like I have to restart the year or something? Like I get held back? Like you get kicked out of the program. Okay, what do I have to do? You gotta make an arrow. You've gotta make an arrow. This has gotta be the coolest freaking arrow you've ever seen. It's gotta have 1,000,000 different fucking colors on it, and it's gotta have feathers and leather. Okay? This arrow needs to have so much freaking rainbow leather on it, which, again, don't love the gays, but... And so, you know, you'd be sitting there and you think, okay, so if the arrow's not good, what? You're gonna talk to me after the meeting? Meeting? This is gonna be a ceremony. We are going to build a 30-foot tall campfire, and we're gonna take a bunch of kids into a forest, and we're gonna tell them that an actual Native American agreed to judge an arrow-making competition for a bunch of 10-year-olds pro bono. 10-year-olds, by the way, who are funded by the government, which Native Americans love. And I believed them. I was so freaking stupid. But, okay, so, you know, and so you get there and you say, okay, so if the arrow's not good, I get kicked out? Buddy, it's okay, come back, come back. If this arrow isn't the fucking tits, we're gonna snap it in half. They did, by the way. The Boy Scouts bought a few extra arrows, gave them fake Boy Scouts, just so that at the ceremony they could snap them in half to show us that they weren't fucking around. So Boy Scouts was, as my therapist would say, a time. So I'm gonna get out of here in just a minute, but this is for those of you who don't know me, this is my last show here with the Comedy Association at Texas State. Oh, thank you. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to leave you with the first joke I ever wrote. It's not going to be good, but you're going to have to laugh at it anyways, okay? Here's the joke. I have a girlfriend. That's not the joke. I have a girlfriend who is she's bi-libertarian, and all that means is that she's bi and libertarian, okay? So like, she likes guys, but she also likes losing elections. Thank you very much, that's been my time.